So what I'm going to do today is actually conduct another class. For those who don't know, I had the privilege of having the first class with the class of 2017, and I'm going to talk to them for a moment and invite you to eavesdrop on what happens in the class. Is that fair enough? Okay. So to the class of 2017, it seems to me that there are two essential questions that we can look at this afternoon. Well, a lot more, but I'm going to pick two. And the two questions are, what do I want to do? And who do I want to be? And they're actually different questions. They have different answers. And they all lead and converge on one point. And that is, what does it mean to be a physician? You know, if you were personally to answer the question, what do I want to do? You could answer it by saying, I want to be a doctor. But beyond that, you know, I'm thinking about OBGYN or surgery or... And see, the answer to that question leads you on one path in medical school, and that's mastery of knowledge, and it's mastery of technique. You do have to learn some techniques to do this. And that can be really arduous. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We have medical students who tell us, you know, acquiring this knowledge is like sipping from a fire hydrant through a straw. It's really tough, and it comes out fast. And the emotional high that you have here from the white coat ceremony carries you for about 6 weeks. And then it's about at 6 weeks from experience that the tedium of the concepts and the things for which there are no concepts, things that we call bugs and drugs, you just have to memorize them, gets to you. And there are actually a couple of strategies of working through that. One strategy is to look back and say, I had this fantastic high at White Coat Ceremony Day. The next is to look forward and say, well, there's good stuff to come. There's match day and there's graduation day, but that's way too far off. So another antidote to falling into that trap of, oh my gosh, there's so much to learn and master, is to create for yourself individually some vision of where you want to be that is bigger than yourself. You could say, I really want to do something about a global epidemic of AIDS. Or you could come closer to home and say, there's enormous poverty right here in Michigan, and there are people who don't have access to health care just a couple of miles from this campus. That's something I'd like to do. And you can take that personal passion, visualize yourself doing something about it, and in the nights when it becomes so hard to keep on going and preparing, that visualization of you doing something spectacular, something really way beyond, may be just enough to get you through to the next day. And I don't want to paint a grim picture of it, but when it does get tough, that can help you out. And there are skills to master also. I met one of our third-year students this morning at Beaumont. I started my day fairly early. And I said to her, you know, we're having a white coat ceremony today. And she looked at me puzzled and said, oh. And I said to her, do you remember back 2 years ago for your first white coat ceremony? And she said, yeah. I said, how much did you learn in 2 years? And you saw at the poster session on Tuesday, when you were with the M2s, how much they had learned in 1 year. And that's another fabulous strategy for working through the times when, well, about 6 weeks from now, it becomes more tedious. Look at all that you're going to learn. Now, the challenge of focusing on what I want to do is it's only part of what it means to be a physician. The American Medical Association came out in 2007 with a document, very interesting. I won't give you the reference to it. And in there they said that medical education is way too focused on the acquisition of knowledge and problem solving because patients are neither problems to be solved nor are they data repositories to be mined. They are people in need. And that gets us to the second question. Who do I want to be? We talked about the grand vision of changing things, a more equitable healthcare system, whatever it is your personal goal. And I'm going to come back to a piece of wisdom that I acquired along the way from a writer that may not be known to you, from the 19th century. His name was Israel Salanter. He worked on character development. His name is not as important as what he had to say. And I'm going to paraphrase this for a 21st century audience. Here's about how it goes. He said, I wanted to change the world, and I couldn't. So I tried to change my country, and I fell short there too. So then I started to work on my community in my town. Didn't make much of a dent. So I turned to my family, fell short there as well, and then I realized the only person I could really change and improve is myself. But I came to realize that by changing myself, I changed my family, and they changed the community, and so on. Is that a fabulous concept? So that thing about acquiring the non-learning, non-technical parts of medicine is so much about what OUWB is about. And just as you would learn and memorize lists, learn how to solve problems, learn techniques, how to pass an endoscope, how to suture, how to do all things in the physical exam, it's worthwhile practicing on a daily basis those personal attributes that help you to answer a critical question that was posed to the founders of this school right from the beginning. And actually, the author of that question is with us today, and Dr. David Forst. The question was, Bob, talking to me, Mr. Michalski was at the dinner when this question was posed, talking to me and says, I know that you can train a medical student to be brilliant and technically proficient. Tell me, please, how do you train a medical student to be kind? And the way the school evolved is the answer to Dr. Forst's question. So let me share something with the rest of the group. Now I'll expand this talk beyond this and tell you that on the first day, we described the community that is the Oakland University William Beaumont School of Medicine. Do you remember it? And we described it in the form of a geometric shape. Very simple. We're a circle. You can speak about a faculty here and a staff here and an administration here, and there's the hospital there and all. But really, we are a community. See, everybody in that community is a point on this circle. Absolutely. If you drop one point from that circle, the circle is broken. So everyone in this community has infinite value and contributes to the integrity of the community as a whole. Very important. How we react to one another in that circle also becomes very, very important. And I'll give you a couple examples of things that you can do and practice because they're very, very relevant to becoming a physician and helping you to answer the questions, not only what do I want to do, but who do I want to be? And I share this with you because what I'm about to express is stuff that after several decades in medicine, I still work on and practice, as do my colleagues here on the front row. From time to time, when you look at all that there is to know, you can get into a mode that says, I'm not prepared for this, I'm not adequate for this. But that's not really healthy because your patients expect more of you, and truthfully, you are adequate. We won't let you out of here unless you are. Another common thing is to have so much self-confidence in yourself that you're over on this extreme here and think you've got it mastered. I'm particularly susceptible to this. I work in a very narrow area of medicine, and there are actually people around who think that I know a lot about my field, and they will send me cases to look at, difficult cases. I have to fight off the temptation when I have a doubt about whether I have the right diagnosis, to fight off the temptation to not seek help, to not consult with another physician and say, could you please help me? I'm in need of your assistance. And I don't feel badly about that. That's what physicians do, because we're putting the patient at the other end of this. One way that I have found that works for me in preventing this over self-confidence is to begin to express a lot of gratitude. You see, you can't be grateful to someone and be arrogant at the same time. And if you take and practice the art of saying thank you to people, it is something you can practice before your M3 year that just enhances your humanity. Yesterday, I was walking through the school and I walked into one of the unfinished new classrooms that Oakland has built for you. You'll occupy it in about a month. And I talked to a construction worker and I thanked him for helping us to make such a beautiful space for you to study. And he said to me, this is the first time in any one of his construction sites that anyone ever thanked him for the outcome that he was working for. And then he said to me, you have no idea how good what you just said made me feel. Now, you can practice that on a daily basis with your classmates, with the people who are counseling you, with professors who stay late at night to help you to work through a concept. It is part of their job, but saying thank you to them is great. And by the way, in the M3 year, when you get to Beaumont, the first time you thank a nurse or a unit clerk or someone along the hall, you will have won their loyalty and support for as long as they are there. And I see a number of Beaumont physicians nodding because they kind of understand what's going on. So that one little thing you can practice along with the memorization and the suturing and all the other things that you do. You may not have a lot of patience in the M1 and M2 year, not it's IENTS. You have a lot of patience, IENCS, I already know that. But you can practice by taking care of each other, because that's what a community does. OUWB is a community designed to serve a community. Is that fabulous? And I'll give you another example using a geometry of a circle. And if you don't mind, for the members of the class of 2017, why don't you make the circle with me? Just put your fingertips at a point. Make it a circle. And now let's put them at 3 and 6 o'clock. And pretend that what that symbolizes is you disagreeing with somebody and taking the exact opposite stance. That could be disagreeing on a way to treat a patient. It could be disagreeing with the faculty about a particular instructional technique that they use or whatever it is. But it's disagreement around an issue. No matter how far apart you are, 180 degrees apart, please realize you are equidistant from the center. And if you really practice thinking that way, by the time you hit your M3 year and you have to go into the hospital and work with patients, that will be as natural to you as the techniques you have learned, and will be as natural to you also as the information you have gathered. That is part of what we strive to do in answering Dr. Forst's question and helping you to answer the question, who I want to be. Not one of you wrote on an admissions essay, I want to be average. So make that big mental visualization. And now finally, about the garment that you just received, the white coat. Not all physicians wear a white coat, but the community associates that white coat with the profession of medicine. So by wearing a white coat, you tell yourself and you tell others, I am part of a community that is the healing community, the profession of medicine. On that white coat is a patch of the medical school. And it is perhaps no accident that that patch is circular. There are 2 circles on that patch. An outer circle of gold, signifying the contribution of Oakland University, one of its 2 colors, and an inner circle, a thicker circle of burgundy, representing the color of the health system, which is going to partner with you in providing you with the opportunity to learn medicine. When you put on that white coat, it is possible for you to say, I am wearing this special garment if you want to call it a vestment in kind of a very special sense of medicine, but within the community of those who practice and study medicine, I am also part of the special OUWB community that values the question, who do I want to be, with equal weight to what I want to do. And now that you've received that white coat, the emblem of the study and profession of medicine, together with the patch that signifies you're part of a special community of OUWB, Oakland University William Beaumont School of Medicine, I invite the class of 2017 to rise and to affirm out loud, individually and collectively as a group, your commitment to the study of medicine through the recitation of the Oath of Geneva. But you are part of a larger community, because even as you are learning medicine for the very first time, those of us who are physicians are relearning medicine with you annually, daily. So I invite all physicians in attendance, those from Beaumont, those physicians perhaps in the audience, to rise and reaffirm your commitment to medicine. I will read a line, and then please repeat after me. I solemnly pledge to consecrate my life to the service of humanity. I will give to my teachers the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will practice my profession with conscience and with dignity. The health of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the secrets that are confided in me even after the patient has died. I will maintain by all the means in my power the honor and the noble traditions of the medical profession. My colleagues will be my sisters and brothers. I will not permit considerations of age, disease or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will not permit considerations of age, disease, or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factors to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. I wish to congratulate the class of 2017 upon entering the study of medicine. Please be seated, everyone. And I wish to congratulate everyone who is going to help you along the road. We have our faculty here, we have administrative staff here, many, many people whom you can meet at the reception to follow. I also want to thank all of the people who have traveled here from great distances to help you to celebrate this along with you. But I could not possibly conclude this very happy occasion without reminding you that in fewer than 4 years, I hope that it is our privilege to assemble again at your graduation when we welcome you into the profession of medicine, not as our students, but as our colleagues. To all, thank you very much. Please enjoy the afternoon. Congratulations, class of 2017.